Welcome to Let's Talk Business Transformation by OSF Digital. We're delighted to have Andrea Gacanin back with us, a sales director and sociology researcher whose work connects data, AI, and human behavior. In this episode, Andrea shares with us how customer service is shifting from reactive support to proactive, personalized engagement, and why it's become a true strategic differentiator. Tune in for quick, actionable insights on driving smarter, more human customer service.
So thank you so much for coming back on. I was so excited in our last conversation that we got through so much, but I feel like we missed a big piece of what I wanted to talk about, and I think you did too. So I wanted to come back and have a conversation about customer service. So thank you for taking some time and coming back on back to back. This is a little out of the ordinary for us, but we're so excited to have you. So Andrea, I wanted to talk about customer service specifically today. And when we talk about customer service and really how much it's changed in the past decade, from your perspective, looking back and seeing where we are now, what do you think has changed the most?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me back. And you're right, like we really missed this speed on customer service, which is crucial, I think, for our customers in tech nowadays. If you think of 10 years ago, I would say customer service was mostly reactive, It was about fixing problems once they appeared. Today, I feel like we're more in a place of like anticipation, because when you have one platform, single platform with all your data in it, you can start predicting the needs before they even surface, and this is where everything changes. I would say the shift has been like from case management, which was like most of the time like what we were doing before, to like relationship orchestration in a way. Data automation and AI will now allow us to engage with the customers in context, like in the sociological context as well. You know someone, you know everything about them. This is not only about solving issues but creating meaningful moments to build loyalty. From a sociological lens, this is like a deeper transformation. It's more like customers, they expect like relational continuity and not just transactions. So service is like part of the social fabric of, if we could use it, like the social fabric of the brand.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And it's become such a differentiator for companies, right, and for organizations.
Yeah.
And it's something that I feel like everybody's starting to prioritize. And it's another one of those things that we've talked about. It's just a buzzword that keeps popping up. Why do you think it's become such a differentiator for companies?
Well, I think because experience is somehow a new benchmark, because like customers, they won't compare your service to your direct competitor. They will compare like to the best experience they ever had, like be it, I don't know, even if you're buying some cosmetics, you want the experience to be as seamless as when you're watching a Netflix movie. So it's more like this kind of comparison that happens.
Yeah,
And
frictionless, right?
yes,
Yeah.
completely frictionless. And with a cloud, like with if you, for example, not for dropping names, but if you use Salesforce Service Cloud, like to help organization like close the expectation gap, you are giving your customers a 360 view of their own customers, which means that they know everything. Like technology is like will be embedded into the culture, and like this is what makes it strategic. So this for me like is the big differentiator, is really that like sociologically we're speaking to trust and recognition. People want to be, they want customers, they want to feel seen, they want to feel understood and valued, and that's what makes service a true differentiator in general. But in order to be able to know everything about someone, you need to have a 360 view, like also a seamless integration of your data. And I think this is what really is key.
I feel like I can't talk to you about anything without talking about really the people side of the change of all of this, right? So when you talk about organizations going into a more customer 360 space, what challenges do you think they're going to see in modernizing their customer service?
I think, well, unfortunately, I think the biggest challenge is still, that's why I say unfortunately, is
Yeah.
still fragmentation, silos between departments, outdated processes, legacy tools that don't talk to each other. We see this so often, and like this really like it's a, like it's difficult because once you have a unified platform that brings everything together, customer data, communication channels, the workflows as well, then transformation is like becomes something more. It's not just technical, it's cultural, because you really have this culture of modernizing your customer service.
Mhm.
At OSF, for example, I know that we also help companies manage the human side. Like it goes along with the technology, definitely, but you need to build this trust in the system, because
Mhm.
like, why would you trust me if I say you need a unified platform? I need to show exactly like what it does, because technology adoption is much more about sociology sometimes
Mhm.
than it is about the software.
I think that's brilliant. So how do you balance sort of the efficiency gains you're going to get from automation with the need to keep the customer service side of things human, right? And keep it tactical and like you're speaking to a human.
Yeah, no, no, definitely. I understand this question, because we get it often. I mean, for me, the key is not, it's augmentation. It's not replacement. AI in Salesforce, for example, will automate repetitive, low value tasks mostly, like the data entry, the routing, and things like that. We've seen it when there was the Salesforce World Tour. I've seen the presentation in Paris and in Zurich as well. It was really interesting, the way that the description of the relationship between the human agents and the AI agents. You want to free your human agents to focus on empathy driven interactions, because empathy is where the human is needed. These are irreplaceable. Nothing's going to replace that. From a sociological point of view, it's crucial. The automation will never erode the sense of human agency. I would say it should more enhance it, giving employees like more autonomy and more purpose to serve, like while they serve the others. But the repetitive tasks, the like ticking the boxes, data entry, and these kind of things, I think like you really like you gain so much time and so much also power for your employees once you implement AI for this.
So taking a look and using kind of your sociological lens again, always going to ask you to throw the researcher lens on. I'm sorry. What role do you think trust then plays in customer service, especially as people are starting to realize that they're encountering with non-human entities?
I mean, you're touching a great point here. Trust is everything. Like literally, this is what builds the relationship. So if like, and you need to make human customers trust the AI agents and or augmented agents. They, but we need to think from the customer's perspective and context. Customers, they don't just want a quick fix. They want to know that their problem matters, that they're not just like a ticket number or something like this. Like trust will emerge when systems are transparent, also when agents have the right data to act with confidence. So trust is also like your technology is a way of infusing trust into your culture. Once you have a transparent platform, something where everyone can access the same data, we have the same definitions for all the KPIs, then it is an act of trust. But like Salesforce platform will empower users by unifying the customer information, so in one place. You don't have to go from one system to another. It reduces errors, so less errors, more trust. It improves communication because everything is seamless, and it enables authenticity, because this is where you play your human part. Trust is the foundation, I think, of any social cohesion. Like we see that in books in sociology. Um, in service, I would say it's the foundation of the loyalty process.
So I want to double down on what you're talking about right now. And we hear a lot about AI in service, the chatbots, the virtual assistants, predictive service, all of the kind of, again, the buzzwordy technology that's coming down the pike right now. Where do you see the real value coming from today?
I think like I was talking about augmentation. Like I think really the real value isn't replacing humans. Of course, it is enhancing the intelligence across the organization. When you use, like, for example, with Einstein, but also Service Cloud, it will help the predictive case routing. Because, like, for example, you will have article suggestions. Sorry, you will have knowledge article suggestions, even like proactive maintenance alerts. So it helps foresee, and this is something that is I think quite important, because the outcome isn't just efficiency. We're not here for efficiency; it's foresight. And like service, becomes smarter because you can use the systems to calculate and predict and then give you a bit more space to think and react as well, like to think ahead. It creates value in a way, like across the whole customer journey.
And and I think you'll probably lean on what you've talked about already in your answer to this, about kind of not replacing but augmenting, right? But
Mhm.
how do you ensure that AI and automation don't create frustration for your customers, right? Like they're talking to an agent that they can't get the right answer from.
Yeah, you're right. I think that this is where I guess the design matters,
Mhm.
because customers should always have the option to escape to a
Mhm.
human. Like I really say
Mhm.
that. Like, we
Mhm.
have these discussions with some of our big companies and companies we're working with. Um, I would say that the Salesforce integrations that we did these couple of like months, for example, that I've seen and that seen, yes.
Mhm.
They allow like a seamless handoff to from a bot to an agent. It's really, we've seen that it was very well explained, and I will not have the same I would say powerful words that were said during the world tour, but it's more about I would say it's the collaboration between the agent and the bot, like and the AI
Yeah.
agent, and this collaboration, that's what customers will remember, like how fluid the experience was. Like once you hand over, then this is where the empathy will take over. I think sociologically it's more about, I would say, preserving the customer. Even in digital interactions, people want to feel just respected, not processed like a ticket, for example. So I think this is where it matters.
So, and this is all wonderful stuff, but the backbone of all this is always going to be data, right? And especially in modern service. And we talked for an hour about data literacy, but I think there's still some more to dig there. So, how do you see data literacy applying specifically to customer service teams?
I think that customer service teams will you if they are fragmented, if they're if the knowledge is like around inconsistent experiences and things like this, if they don't have the knowledge of the like where the data sits, how it is collected, and like just siloed data and fragmented tools, then you're not empowering them. This is what we're talking about, the data literacy. If you want to empower your customer service teams, like having a platform that is powerful, like transparent, and like offers you a 360 view of their customer, also gives them a feeling of being a part of the greater journey, of being a
Yeah,
part of the company's objectives. So I think culturally this is also very important. And the data literacy in general should be something that we
yeah,
should expand to all the population, because we all have smartphones, we all have cars that have embarked a system
yeah,
as well. So yeah, I think data literacy is one of the keys for the customer service, because you need to trust your KPIs, to trust where the data comes
yeah.
from regarding your customer.
So, on the flip side of that, then, right, what happens when service teams don't have access to the same level of tools or data across those departments?
Well, what happens is that then you will have a fragmented experience. Like like we all live that as customers, but also I've seen that in companies. If you don't have the governance that is behind your data, that is behind your tools, then what happens is that like you cannot align your expectations and like your expectations or your targets to what is to what is expected uh, from you, like from your customers. So I
Yeah,
think this is the part where it touches on the change management that we discussed last time, I
yeah,
would say, because otherwise the customer will not feel seen. He will not feel understood. You're just like one number, and if you have, I had a bad experience recently. For example, I ordered something, they delivered something that I did not order, but then like they had to navigate. I had emails and calls. Like, all I wanted was someone to pick up what they just delivered, and that wasn't mine, for example. And this is where data comes in place. Like if you have the right tool, then you can understand that this is not my order. I'm customer X. I have this phone number. I called you twice. So imagine having all of that like it's not even imagine, like it's reality. It can become a reality for anyone. You have everything in the platform. You have my address. You have one, like the time that the package was delivered. It takes, it's like one click away from like just not leaving me in frustration of having a huge package in my hall here and just waiting until someone picks it up. So yeah.
So, to kind of create a through line of the two conversations we've had, I'd love for you to share an example of how good service technology combined with change management and yeah, really just those two, how they can transform the employee experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. We have one example, but like for the sake of, I'm not sure like how if we can share the name of the company. It's a beauty brand with which we partnered as OSF Digital, and in order to, what we wanted to do with them was to modernize their like service and commerce ecosystems globally. But like we first had to start with the market, and so what we did, we leveraged Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Yes, Commerce Cloud, and also like some reference architecture rollout. I'm not like really 100% on the technical side, I would say, but what we did, we helped them launch like fully localized websites in it was in the Nordics, it was in Sweden, Denmark, but also like in Europe, in like many European countries, markets, sorry. Internally, that meant that agents and service teams like would move away from like juggling between multiple point systems that they had previously, and they were like they had unclear customer views, because if you have my address in one place and then my phone number in one other, like it's a nightmare. And we move them towards a unified commerce and service platform with consistent data and personalized loyalty capabilities as well. The result was, I mean, really clear. Faster time to market with the new local and like websites and campaigns that we launched. More unified customer journeys, like you can build a whole strategy and not have to juggle between the different platforms and systems. And also a service organization that can operate with a higher sense of people, like by introducing more technology, or let's say unified technology, you actually allow the human side of things to be more present, I would say. So less firefighting, so no more like trying to find if you have the right password, the access for this tool and things like this, and more strategic value. And this is so important, I think, for the employees, also the customer service, not only for the final customer. And from my, I would say from my sociological point of view, like this transformation, I would say that it empowered the teams like with the right, just with for first with the right tools, but then it also reduced the friction with different workflows, like with workflows that made sense for them. It builds internal trust, so your own customer service teams, like they will trust what you are like what your company strategy, I would say. It enhances the employee experience, that is as important, but sometimes more important than the customer experience, to be honest. And then like this extends naturally, and this is what we saw in the numbers as well, that I cannot share, of course, but like what we saw is like it was extended to the customer on how they perceive the brand. It's coherent, it's present, it is responsive. And I would say not only responsive, it is like sometimes also predicting
Yeah.
things, like just things will come up even before you think you need them. And I think this was a great example of how you go from having multiple touch point tools to a unified platform where you can really serve also your own markets. You don't launch one market 6 months and then you reinvent the wheel the second time. Okay, let's relaunch another market. It takes so much time and energy of everyone.
So if I've been listening to you for the past two episodes and I'm just so fired up about customer service, I'm a service leader. I'm like, all right, it's time to go customer 360. It's time to really take like a unified view of my customer. What do you think is the most important first step for me to take?
I think, but I mean, like now I've been in workshops where what we do first is we map the customer journey. So this is where our strategic, I would say, our strategic support is very, very important, because we have experts in different industries, and these consultants will really help you mapping. So you start mapping the customer journey, not from your internal processes point of view, but from the customer's lived
Yeah.
experience. So this is where it changes. We don't want you to reenact everything that you need to do, all the processes. We need to think of the customer first. So that's the first part, and then you align with the right platform, I would say. Of course, we're working with Salesforce exclusively. Salesforce is really powerful, but I would say the main reason for me is because it scales with you. Because your implementation will reflect your culture. We will you don't need to start firing on all the different clouds. We need first to understand what is the main objective of your customer, what you need to know about them, how do you want to build this whole journey, I would say. And then what we make sure also is to implement the right KPIs as well. This one, the right KPIs to follow this whole organization. I would say this is more like a second step. But I would say first step is to think of the customer first, and how your technology is going to be anchored into empathy, and both empathy and strategy together, I would say.
So, final question here as we look ahead, what excites you the most about the future of customer service? We talked about the last 10 years. We look at the next 10. What's exciting to you?
Mm, I think there's a paradox. With more technology embedded in our customer service culture, we are actually going towards a more human customer service. Why? Because it's the convergence of human empathy and AI precision.
Mhm.
Machines do what they're good at.
Mhm.
They're good at predicting, building processes, and also doing all the repetitive, and I don't like to say low value, because there is value behind those tasks, but low value for humans, I would say.
Mhm.
We are entering an era where service can be deeply personal now, because imagine the time that you free by having all your data in one place and structured, let's say, perfect place. Well, then you can really take your time to think about how the customer feels, because you have your systems who are running on your, I would say, on your data cloud, and they can predict the needs. They can predict certain emergent trends that they're also helping you to get all the context around your customer. And you can use, I would say, your emotional intelligence to deal with what is your main job usually in customer service, is to deal with the customer, to make them feel understood and seen. And I think innovations in AI and data service will definitely move more from support
Yeah.
to anticipation. I keep saying that, but
It's
it's
true, though.
about
It's
predicting.
true. Yeah, yeah. And the
Yeah,
future of the two-way conversation, right? And that's what we're all striving towards, right? Is having actual human, real technology enabling us to have human conversations with our customers. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
This
wonderful.
this cannot be replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Andrea, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on again. And we'll be excited to have you on again sometime in the future. But as always, an absolute pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. That was a great conversation. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Business Transformation by OSF Digital. Follow us for more episodes and visit osf.digital to learn more.